Hello and welcome to Reviews. As always, I'm Plume Noir, and you may notice, yes, I had to buy Powers of X number 2 on my tablet. You see, Powers of X and House of X have been selling fantastically. I believe they've been selling probably together about 300,000 copies. It's been pretty amazing. And I was the fool who did not put it on my pull list. Oh, here's JR. Just kind of push him off to the side. I didn't put the books on my pull list, and my shops all sold out. Not even able to get any of the variants. So I had to break down and go to Comixology, and we all know how I feel about that. So I'm trying to go through this one real quick because I need to catch up on a bunch of videos here. As you see, this is the cover. The art on this book's good. I do like the art. However, when you look at the cover, only one of these characters, Magneto, is actually in the book. So I don't know why we have, Emma and Toad and Mystique and Sabretooth on there, but it looks like this should be connecting to other covers. Kind of has that collage feel to it. Anyway, let's go ahead. We'll pop over. We do have a quote from Magneto. There is a chasm between you and I, Charles, a gap that cannot be closed. With each passing day, I fear it never will be. Now, as you know, Powers of X is actually following like three different periods of the. No, actually, it's four different periods. The beginning, the present, the 100 years, 1,000 years. Um, there goes JR. So here we have at was that X0 year one, and we have Moira and Charles meeting with Magneto, and they discuss their philosophies, and basically, Professor X has Moira, thoughts transferred into Magneto's mind. The war they've had, they have their different philosophies, but they've never tried working together. Now, as we saw in the previous issue, Moira has been going through all these different lives. And, she's tried doing the Apocalypse thing. She's tried doing the Xavier thing. She's tried doing the Magneto thing. Well, it looks like this one is going to be all three of them working as one for a long-term goal. So, yeah, that's where, he makes the mind connection, and we get to see the lives here. Here's Uncanny X-Men 200, and yeah. It's a little bit harder for my phone to focus on the word balloons when I have it on a tablet mode. So here's where Magneto asks Moira, "You're a mutant, and all these lives, was it real?" And she says, "Yes, I am a mutant, and yes, that was as real as it gets. Why would you show me that? The great failures, all the great falls. Because our truth is profound and life-changing, and apart we always lose. We believe it's only together that you and I, that our people can survive." And Magneto is more than just surviving. He wants to dominate, and but eventually they decide to work together. And then we have the cover thing, Powers of X. Then we go into year 10, where we're at Krakoa. And Cyclops is looking at the plans for not a master mold, but the mother mold that has been, what is it called, like Object Paperclip, where we saw in the previous issue where Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D. and Storm, not Storm, S.H.I.E.L.D. and Sword and AIM and all of them are working together to make this mother mold. A mother mold that can make other master molds to take down the mutants. And so this is pretty much a lot of exposition explaining this. And we see that one ends up a plan to create Nimrod. And so Xavier, tells him, "Listen to me, Scott. They have to be stopped. Remember, this will be a frontal assault on an orbital station tens of millions of miles away, built by a secret organization whose sole purpose is the extinction of mutants. Could such a thing even be done?" And we get Cyclops being, badass. Doesn't need doing? Then it will be done. I just have one little thing I'd like to point out. Magneto, Master of Magnetism, orbital station. They're probably going to start doing that. What do they say? Non-ferrous metals and stuff. I mean, I think Magneto will probably be the best guy to go after something that builds robots on a giant space station flying around the sun. Um, aren't there enough ferrous asteroids that you could just smash into it? Anyway, so then we cut again into year 100. Um, as you know, they just got back from stealing the files. Um, these are the basically created mutants, Sinister's creations, which are like the blended mutants. They have multiple powers. We have the Rasputin here, who has some Kitty Pryde's powers, and the not Nightcrawler. But I think this is the real Wolverine, and we find that the thing that they stole, they're given to Apocalypse. And what was it that they stole? Well, this is kind of neat. They're stealing all the computers information, all that data. But that would be too hard. Sorry, I touched Butters there when she was under the blanket. It would be too hard to get all that data. Yeah, I touched Butters. See, she's under the blanket. She's fine. See, she just likes to crawl under the blanket. And JR's checking her out. Now she's getting mad. They stole all the data. Well, they couldn't steal all the data. That'd just be incredibly hard. No, instead, the files they took were the index files. That way they could know exactly how to find what they were looking for. Let me free Butters here from under the blanket. So yeah, basically, imagine instead of copying all the tables, you're just copying the pointers, to said tables. And then we cut over to Nimrod, who has found that they have, that the data has been stolen. We got the two human underlings who are smarting off to them. If there is one thing I like about digital comics, getting things on the tablet or what have you, scenes like this look awesome backlit. Let me just turn off my flash there. So we just have full. It doesn't really capture, I don't think, through the camera. But when you have big energy effects like this, they do look awesome on a tablet. Overall, don't really care for the, reading on the tablet. So Nimrod the Lesser here, who I said in a previous video, I'm really enjoying his character. He is really, really fun. After these guys, he gets annoyed and he kills them. See, Butters is fine. She's just walking by. He just continues his conversation with them. Oh, please, great Nimrod, give us our truth so we may know the difference between darkness and light. Well, since you asked so nicely, here it is. You see, their very existence was encrypted, blah, 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 and it goes on. So yeah, he's a fun character to read. So they have all the data, the indices. It's one thing about working in IT. There's a few things that are actually, I don't know what it is. IT people, when they started it, they just didn't have a good grasp of language. Indexes. It's actually indices. And, it's, working in IT like I do, it's always been a thing that's bugged me, but you get into the habit of saying indexes. But the proper word is indices. I know that. So, anyways, so they basically have all the indices for the data. And this dude here, who looked like he might be Groot, actually looks to be either like Black Tom or Krakoa, actually inside Doug Ramsey's body. That's, because he makes a comment that, thanks to this body, I can read, the body of once belonged to a mutant who could communicate with anything. Oh, I'm off center. There we go. I maintain all that he has, though he has long left this existence. We will find a way. So yeah, it looks like Krakoa is actually inhabiting Cypher's body. And then this dude here that looks like Cosmic Ghost Rider is Zorn, who is actually pretty enjoyable as well. And I gotta stop soon. So yeah, Rasputin says, "You're fantastically depressing, Zorn. The perfect teammate for the end times." Of course, Zorn is just Oh, thank you, friend. And then we get this weird comment, that makes me wonder, does it really seem like something Wolverine would say, as long as he's been around? Let's see if that will focus. You gotta be kidding me. A little mumbly nonsense, and the world just opens up. I should have been born with brains. Okay, that doesn't really sound like Logan. So I'm really not sure if this is the real Logan or if it's a clone, but I'm guessing this is the real Logan. And I really need to stop here soon. Um, so yeah, I'm actually going to stop here because not really too much more happens in this issue. There's a few other charts where they talk about what the Nimrod the Greater is trying to do, and that's in, of course, X1000, where we see that the machines have taken control, and well, actually, it doesn't happen until 1000. We do see that, but um, we see the plans with the hive minds. I wonder if I can go through to the charts here. Um, yeah, I don't really want to go too much farther here. Um, let's see, where am I at? Okay, yeah, I'm pretty close to the end. And so I don't want to go much farther. Hickman does use a lot of charts in this book, like he has been, to kind of boost up his narrative, explaining the different types of intelligence, hive minds. We get to see how the phalanx fit into things. It, I will be honest, of the two books, Powers right now is the weaker book, but I think it's the one that's probably more important for what Hickman is planning. Um, the House of X is, you know basically dealing with the characters. This is the overall story, the plans, how, what happens in each time period affects things. But since we went back to Mora, I kind of have a feeling that this universe we're seeing, given her 10 lives, I don't think this is a 616 universe. And, not just the obvious that they're doing the Ultimate Universe thing of the lowercase, fonts, instead of it being all caps like they tend to do. Not all the books in 616 go with all caps. There are a few books that do the lowercase. Um, but also when Cyclops talks, there's sometimes weird, um, sometimes things are put in italics for a weird reason. Um, I noticed it. Oh shoot! I hate when I do that. I noticed it with him, especially. But with the whole thing that Mystique told Mora that she'll have 10 lives, 11 if she makes the right choices. I have a feeling that this is probably the 10th life, and the 616 universe that we're used to is the 11th one. It's when this gets rebooted, it'll go back into the 616 universe. I have a feeling that's where they're going with this. Some of the things are similar, but I don't think. I know it's way too soon to call this, but I don't think this is the 616 universe. I think that what happened between here and the next life, although that could be kind of hard to explain because after all this, will probably blow up in everyone's faces, and she gets rebooted again. Although they are showing the far future, where if she's rebooted, she reincarnates, she reboots the universe. You would think that those timelines wouldn't exist anymore. So, but I have a feeling that there's some type of game. This life here doesn't fit in. Um, it's either not part of this universe, or maybe this is the sixth life that we're seeing. But that wouldn't make any sense because that came before Apocalypse and before Magneto. So, yeah, I don't think this is her latest life. I think her latest life is what the 616 is. But I'm still working on it, still just a theory. So, anyway, I'm going to stop here because it's really hard for me to maneuver through the books here and really show off panels. The art's good. I really do like the art. See, that's why I freaking hate using the tablet. Um, and I'm still interested. This book is selling really well, which is good. That's really good. Um, but it is Hickman, and just like the Incursions, Avengers, Secret Wars, he's taking the smaller characters and making them more important, really bringing them up, and in the Secret War, the incursions. It was the Beyonders were pulled out of limbo to fit the story, and I think he's doing the same thing with the Phalanx in this book. So I think that's where he's going with this, but it's still too soon to say. Anyway, I'm still digging it. Still digging the book. I'm enjoying it, and I really want to know where it's going. So yeah, 12 o'clock, going full 12 o'clock on this. You know, as I said, I'm enjoying House of X a little bit more, but doesn't mean anything against this. I think the book focusing on the different timelines is kind of scattering it a little bit, but I mean, the two books are actually one book, basically. It's, two limited series, that are really one. And they just split it into the two things to make it so it wouldn't be even more convoluted. So anyway, I'm enjoying this book. I'd pick it up if you can find it. Go ahead and get it, trust me. And yeah, a whole bunch of stuff came through this week. A new Gwenpool book came out. And I saw stuff from last week I couldn't get to because, work. I mean, I got to work for a living. So anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.